Good afternoon. My name is Ces Butner, and I have the honor to serve as this year's president of Rotary Club of Oakland. Founded in 1908, the Rotary Club of Oakland is the third oldest Rotary Club of some 35,000 Rotary clubs throughout the world. We are a community of 300 men and women from all walks of Oakland civic, commercial, and community life, committed to the Rotary motto of service above self. I'd like to welcome you to our 5,341st club meeting. For over 111 years, we have welcomed Rotarians and their guests from around the world to our club meetings. We continue to do so virtually, so as soon as a few weeks, I think it is, the 17th, we'll be having it right here in the California Ballroom, which will once again coming to you via the California Ballroom. So bear with us with the testing. We got a little bit more to do, but we'll be ready by June 17th. And many thanks to the AV team once again. I shout out to the AV team, Jack Isles and Sandeepa Nayak, for work tirelessly to make this happen. So if you're a visiting Rotarian or if you're a guest of Rotarian, please let us know by typing your name and the name of your club into the chat box located at the center bottom of your screen. By doing so, we will be able to recognize you later in the meeting. Also, we recommend all participants view this Zoom meeting by clicking the speaker view button located in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. And if you have any comments throughout the meeting or questions for the speaker, please use the chat button at the bottom for that as well. And now for our thought for the day and the pledge, since this is Memorial Day weekend, just my birthday, just by chance, Rotarian Kristine Watson.
Thank you, President Ces. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. President Ces?
You have a thought for the day.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
On the denial of justice, the American people have to learn this, that where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel that society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and degrade them, neither person nor property is safe. This is as true today as it was in 1845, part of the memoir for the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave and a famed abolitionist. And I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you so much, Kristine, for that thought for the day. Because we want to remain grounded and focused, we begin our meetings by jointly reciting our vision, which is together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. I hope you enjoyed last week's meeting where we had Bruce Kwan discuss his book, Bitter Roots, about his 5 generations of families here in the Bay Area. I don't know about you, but I found this story to be an appropriate reminder of those saying, the more things change, the more they seem to stay the same. I thank Bruce for sharing his very personal story with us. This week, we have further testing in the ballroom experience, anticipating our first in-person meeting on June 17th, 2021. We'll communicate all the protocols in the coming weeks, but one you should know ahead of time is, in an abundance of caution, will require proof of vaccination to come into the meeting, like other indoor gatherings as it is at the Chase Center. Additionally, we will not serve lunch, buffet or box at the initial meeting, but we will provide drinks, coffee, tea, and water, and have the bar open. And we will require masks when you're not eating or drinking. But since we're not going to have eating, it'll only be when you're drinking. So get your vaccination card on the picture or a picture of it on your phone together and in anticipation of the June 17th in-person meeting. My one in-person non-Zoom meeting as a Rotary president. You won't want to miss it. You get to come back and see me in person. So sit back and enjoy another in our great Civic Thursday meetings where you catch a great speaker and get involved with Rotary, where service above self exists. Past District Governor Ed Jelen, do we have any visiting Rotarians or guests?
Indeed, we do, President Ces. First, let me check out the ballroom, see if we have any guests in there. Yeah, we have a visiting, we have a guest in the ballroom, a visiting Rotarian, Diane Dorn, past president of the Rotary Club of San Leandro. Diane, I hope you can see me. I can sure see you out there. Welcome to our club. And let's see, on our Zoom guests, CJ Hirschfeld brought a guest, Lois Corin. So Lois, I know you've been with us before. Glad to have you back and glad you enjoy coming visiting our club. And then David Stein and Harold Lowe have a guest of both of theirs. She is Maria Obledo, who's district executive of the Peralta District of the Boy Scouts. So Maria, welcome to Rotary. Hope you enjoy our program and hope to have you back. That's my list, President Ces. What?
I think we just lost our feed. Since nobody is here, why don't we sing President Says a fantastic birthday song?
Hi, Sandeepa.
Hi, Jack.
Don't say that in an airport.
That's Jack. Jack can run the meeting.
Jack, you're killing me.
Sandeepa,
Yes.
Sandeepa, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Past District Governor, you froze up for a little while in here in the ballroom, so I take it you had all your guests.
Yes, just to repeat, we have Diane Dorn, past president of the Rotary Club of San Leandro. CJ Hirschfeld brought Lois Corin, and David Stein and Harold Lowe brought Maria Obledo. And those were our guests that I hope people heard me when I introduced them and welcomed them to our club.
Thank you, Ed, and welcome all guests. We have a tradition of transitioning red badge, new members, to blue badge, full engaged members, when that member completes certain tasks. They go through the new member orientation. They have to join a committee. They have to make a giving commitment to Rotary Foundation or Oakland Rotary Endowment. And finally, they have to give the 3-minute self-introduction. Today, we have Rotarian Nancy Williams giving her 3-minute self-introduction. Nancy, right here at the California Ballroom.
That's right. I'm here and in person. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Can't wait till you come back for sure. But first, I want to say hi to my fellow Rotarians and also thank President Ces for providing me with this opportunity to introduce myself today.
Let's take a break.
I am proud to be a member of the Oakland A.
You are muted.
Hi, fellow Rotarians. Good to be here. And first, I'd like to thank President Ces for providing me with this opportunity to introduce myself today. I am proud to be a new member of the Oakland Rotary Club and look forward to being an example of what service above self looks like. My name is Nancy Williams. I grew up in Southern California and earned a degree from UCLA in sociology with an emphasis in business and urban planning. After 14 years in management at a major wireless telecom company, I left to start a franchise consulting firm specializing in helping women and people of color purchase franchises. In just over 4 years, I was able to launch close to 50 new businesses and change people's lives. In 2020, yes, in the middle of a pandemic, my husband and I decided to purchase Money Pages of Oakland franchise and bring it here. Money Pages franchise and bring it here to Oakland. I fell in love with how Money Pages can have a big impact on local communities and businesses. It's a vehicle for business owners to acquire new customers through award-winning ads while providing consumers with a compelling savings offer to come in and try new businesses and products. I'm also able to tell stories of historic places and people in Oakland and give our beloved nonprofits a vehicle to spread the word about their events and community activities that are coming up. When I get a break from both of those businesses, I love to attend live music events and travel internationally. Some of my favorite places have been South Africa, Peru, Buenos Aires, and Barcelona. I am deeply passionate about helping communities and community members. I joined Rotary to become more connected with the Oakland community and put everything I've learned personally and professionally to work to improve our community. I'm excited to be a part of the Business Development Committee and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. And I look forward to meeting so many of you when you return to the ballroom and participating in volunteer activities. As a fellow Rotarian, if I can provide assistance to you personally in any way, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
The claps. We can hear the claps in here. Thank you, Nancy. And when we return to in-person meetings, your shiny new blue badge indicated in your completion of permanent member requirements is waiting on you. Congratulations once again. Thanks for being a new member. Rotarian Harold Lowe, I believe you have an update for us on Enterprise Institute. Come on in.
Thank you, President Ces. It's interesting to have like a really good person like Nancy, and then you got me. Good afternoon to the distinguished and undistinguished members of our Rotary Club and our guests. It is appropriate that I'm joining you here today on the last day of school for the Oakland Unified School District's 2020-2021 school year. For while most of the committees can speak to a litany of accomplishments over this pandemic, I come to you for the second year in a row with just a pretty face and optimism for the new year. Our committee is fueled by one thing, the active participation of our youth. I could tell you about networking accomplished at school sites, which would have doubled our camp participation and invigorated our STILL program, but that's all theory without any application. Our product is our youth doing things with one another. For exactly 14 and a half months today, we have been able to connect with these youth. Sure, Harold, most all youth services teams haven't been able to interact with youth, you say. Not like us, I say. Let me place this into perspective. The Enterprise Institute is the signature activity that makes Oakland #3 different than any other club around. Since 1982, we have taken high school youth from Oakland, Emeryville, and Piedmont. Public schools, private schools, charter, Black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Native, boys, girls, students who have been great students and not, and we brought them for that 1 hour, 29-minute, 77.3-mile drive from here to the Camp Monte Toyon in Aptos, California. Now, in the early years, the camp began when students loaded buses on Thursday after our meetings, and they returned on Sundays, battered and bruised from playing tackle football at the beach with the likes of Jack McAvoy, or Cheap Shot Jack, as we like to call him, and Art Heck. Students were transformed from having the opportunity to listen, to learn, to engage many of the most significant leaders in Oakland over this 72-hour period. Now, while the composition of players has changed, Rotarians no longer challenge youth to combat. Women have been participants and leaders for over 3/4 of the time we've had the enterprise, and the compositions of students has varied from 10th graders to 12th graders over this period. The mission is the same. Bring together a high school burgeoning leaders to learn in a foreign place among a group of foreign peers from a team of foreign Rotarians to walk away with an orientation of what it is to be a leader. We introduce these concepts to students through the context of business creation and development. Now, many of you know that I'm one of the early participants. So is fellow Rotarian Danny Mai. What you may not know is this experience has been the main reason why I've stayed in Rotary for the past 17+ years. Let's face it, if you don't think about leaving Rotary every other year, you're not telling the truth. You get that crazy president or that inflexible committee chair that dismisses every good idea, some yahoo that sits at your table and says something controversial, the food's particularly bad that year, and you think to yourself, why am I still here? I will make this statement. If you ask people who have been here more than a decade why they've remained, you've naturally gotten a lot of varying answers. But you may find one common thread with most of these members. Most of them have participated in the Enterprise Institute. You will bond better with your Rotarians after this experience, and Rotary will become more real to you. You will also see in the eyes of the youth how much your presence is appreciated. It will carry you through those lean times. You will also find people that have not participated. Now, I remember watching an interview with Jerry Lewis. Now, hold on, getting back to this. When he was asked at age 70 why he was now going to go perform on Broadway for the first time. The interviewer was confused. You've been a box office success, a TV success, you're a famous star. Why do you want to go to Broadway now? Because, Jerry replied, my father always told me that no matter how great you've been, you're not a complete performer unless you've been on the stage, unless you've done Broadway. No matter how much success you've had. No matter how much you've accomplished in Rotary, unless you've participated in the Enterprise Institute, you'll always be Jerry Lewis. Don't be Jerry Lewis. Now that you've told me my Rotary experience, this is a complete, Harold. What do you want from me? Well, Rotarian, I'm glad you asked. Paying your dues to Rotary doesn't absolve you from paying your dues to society. One meaningful way to participate is in an Enterprise Institute. You have a little bit of time to decide how you're going to do that because I'll give you a window to check in with me. But I will say this. We don't have any returning students for the first time since 1986. And so we'll need 6 to 10 of you to support this role. Well, what if you don't like kids well enough to talk to them for 2 days? Listen, I don't like my kids that much half the time. So on the face of it, that's not an excuse. But if you truly don't like kids, perfect. You'll be able to do the administrative work. You'll be able to help logistics. You can review the training materials. I love micromanagers and megalomaniacs alike. If you like kids, super, you can help recruit at the schools. We've got 12 of them we're targeting this year. We only need 6 youth per school. If you don't like the administrative work, perfect. You can be a facilitator or a contest judge. If you think you're a great public speaker, perfect. Come down and serve as a moderator and lead a morning or afternoon session. I can ask you about writing checks or volunteering. We'll give you a room. We've got electricity. And there are no endurance tests. There's a lot of things that are happening, but I will cut to the chase on this and say, our old list of Rotarians has shifted. And some of you sent me some nasty grams when you were copied on things in the past. Some of you were sending me nasty grams because you weren't copied. Give me an opportunity to learn what you want to be able to do to participate. And I'll give you a full month to contact me, and then we'll start up again with meetings in August. I'd like to make a big deal out of this because it's the 40th anniversary and it's coupled with us coming back from COVID. Don't be on the sidelines of engagement here in Oakland. We need you. Thank you.
Thank you, Harold. Enterprise Institute is the reason why I'm still involved in this as well. So thank you for reminding us about it. And despite the fact that we've had 2 years where we couldn't participate with Enterprise Institute, we are going to make it come back as we come back from everything here in this COVID year. Next, I have Mark Rosen.
Yep, I'm here.
Announcement.
I am definitely here. I am here to talk about High Adventure and our easy peasy ride coming up this Saturday. As you can see behind me, that's a picture of the Brooklyn Basin. And that's where we're going to meet at 8:30. And the ride is what I call easy peasy. Why? Because you can set your own length of the ride. It can be 5 miles, it can be 10 miles, 15. This is a very flat ride. There's nothing really going to stress you out like we do on Sunday rides. So we're hoping that everyone will meet at Rocky's Market, 8:30 on Saturday. With your bike, your stroller, your scooter, we don't care what you do. We're going to have a good time. We've got a good number of people already signed up. It's a way of getting out, enjoying us. And after we're done the ride, we're going to come back to Rockies and we're going to feast a little. I'm going to keep this short because I really liked Howard's introduction about enterprise. That enterprise is one of those functions and committees I've served on. And I think that we all have to get on board with that as well as the other committees. There you go, President. See everyone on Saturday. Sign up.
Thank you, Mark Rosen, leader of our high adventure, ready to get back engaged again once we're out of COVID here. I do want to once again say how much I appreciate what Harold said to us as well. And we've got to resurrect the Enterprise Institute for next year. Now I have President-elect Dudley. I believe you have an announcement for us as well.
Thank you, President Ces, fellow Rotarians, honored guests. Do you have a slide there? So the first thing is, if you tune me out right now and think about all the bad food we served in the ballroom that Harold was talking about, go to Google Rotary International Convention. You'll find everything you need to know. What I would like to highlight is that in 2 weeks, Ces and I were supposed to be in Taipei, Taiwan. We just saved the club $10,000 because it's only going to cost each of us $65 to attend this year's Rotary International Convention. It's going to be a great convention. It's in 2 weeks. It's over about 5 days. You know, if you've I have never attended an international convention. Someday I will get to do that, maybe Houston next year. But there are speakers, just incredible speakers. The Director General of the World Health Organization, there's a climate activist, there's a Rotary Peace Fellow. There'll be sessions on self-reflection, how to grow, and how to serve. There are activities. There's a DJ dance party, so you can wear your pajamas and go to a dance party this year. There's a house of fellowship where all kinds of projects from around the world. Think of this. Normally, 35,000 people get together for an international convention. I don't know how many will be on Zoom this year, but there are opportunities for breakout rooms and you'll get to talk with people from around the world. Anyway, I encourage you to Google Rotary International Convention. You'll find the link. You'll see this link that's up there. Sign up and have a great time. Also, if you do sign up and register, they'll be recording the convention and you'll be able to watch it. So you don't have to sit there for 5 days in a convention room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President-elect Dudley. We did save you a little bit of money, though. Now we're not going there. It's only $65 for us to go down to the convention, which we're required to do as president. Now I have what's going to do a few minutes of breakout rooms, but some speakers went a little long. I won't say who. I see him in here. But now we'll have the introduction. Rotarian Ahmad Anderson, will you do us the honor of introducing this week's Civic Thursday speaker?
Absolutely. Thank you, President Ces. It is with great honor and pride I introduce you to a dear childhood and lifelong friend of almost 50 years. The magnificent Renaissance man, Mack Shooty Babitt of the Oakland A's. I share with you, in my household, we are sort of a house divided. We have a Red Sox fan, we have A's fans, and we have Giants fans. But we are the biggest fans of what my son and children call Uncle Shooty, and my mom calls him our other son, I introduce to you Mr. Mack Shooty Babitt, my dear friend.
You're muted. Shooty, you're muted.
How about that? Are we good now?
Perfect, perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ahmad, for the wonderful introduction. I humbly sit here today, being thankful to be a part of the Rotary meeting. A lot of people ask me, you know, where are you from? I say I'm from the Bay Area, even though I was born in Oakland, raised in Berkeley, competed in Richmond, dated girls in El Cerrito, just had a great time in the Bay Area. And I just hope that I represent everything that this Bay Area is all about. I went to high school at Berkeley High School, graduated in 1977. I had a scholarship to go to UCLA. My childhood dream was to be a professional baseball player. There's a legendary scout that was here in Richmond named James Gwynn. A lot of people know him by JJ. He drafted Ricky Henderson. We know who he is, the greatest leadoff hitter of all time, Hall of Famer. Claudio Washington, three-time World Series champion, who Mr. Gwynn signed off the track club at Berkeley High, didn't even play on the baseball team, and was in the big leagues at 19. He saw a young man playing in the parks of Berkeley that had a dream and had a fire, that just wanted an opportunity one day to live out his dream. During that course, there were people telling me that I had an opportunity perhaps to get drafted in a higher round based on what I was doing in high school, but being a guy who was challenged most of the time in my life because of, you know, sports is a big man and a strong man's game, but I don't think you really get an opportunity to measure a person's heart until you're around them long enough to see what they're really about. And Mr. Gwynn was a guy that used to drive around in his police car, and he would stop and buy the kids in the park ice cream. He's a retired police officer, but he always found time to get out his police car and spend time with the kids to let them know what he was there for. You know, he was there for their welfare, someone to talk to if they needed to talk to, if their father, their mother wasn't active in their life, and just didn't take his gun for granted that he was there to get people or arrest people. And that stuck with me for a long time growing up as a kid. And lo and behold, he's the guy that gave me an opportunity to play professional baseball. I got drafted in the 25th round. It was the last day of the draft. And I had an opportunity to either go to UCLA or sign a professional contract. And Mr. Gwynn came into my home, sitting there with my dad, who was my best friend in my life, best man in my wedding. God bless his soul, who passed away 5 years. There was a contract on the table. There was a scholarship offered to UCLA. And Mr. Gwynn came in the house with a certain amount of money that probably wouldn't have been enough to buy the plane ticket for me to get to where I was going. But on the other side, there was at least a scholarship worth $200,000. Well, my dad asked Mr. Gwynn, if it was your son, what would you do? Well, Mr. Gwynn said, if it was my son, I would tell him to go to school. Once again, showing his best interest in the kid, even though that he knew that my dream was to play professional baseball. Well, my dad said, my son is 18 years old. One thing that I know is that he loved the game and he always wanted this opportunity. And the one thing that I don't want to happen is the day that something happens and he never gets another opportunity and he points his finger at me saying I didn't give him a chance to be a pro. That day I had to grow up. I asked Mr. Gwynn, I said, Mr. Gwynn, if you go back to Charlie Finley and ask him to give me a little bit more money, what would he say? He's going to tell you to go to school. So that day I knew what I wanted. And 43 years later, I'm still involved in a game that gave me the biggest opportunity and opportunity to live the dream that I wanted to. This is my 27th year scouting. I played 9 years professionally, only 1 year in the major leagues. But that 1 year and the time that I've spent in my community, which has been 43 years now, 27 as a scout now. I worked for the Atlanta Braves for 2 years. In 94, 95, we won the World Series once. We lost it in the World Series the next year, 2 rings there. I leave in 1988 to go to the expansion draft for the Arizona Diamondbacks. to start a major league club. They brought me over to be a national supervisor, and I ended up being a special assistant to the general manager. In 3 years, we did something that had never been done in the history of baseball, become a world champion as an expansion team in 3 years. We won a World Series in 2001, ring number 3. After 10 years there, my contract expired. I died and went to heaven. The New York Mets gave me an opportunity to be a professional scout. After 10 years there, we make it to the World Series. We lose, but I get another ring. So this is my 3rd year. You know, after that 12th year with the Mets, new management came in. My record was clear. I've been a true professional all my life, and they came in and said, we're going in a different direction. And I thought I had died before. This is my 23rd, 24th year in the game. Everything's been great. They don't renew my contract. It's becoming a younger man's game. I don't know where I'm going to go from there. I still want to work in the game. I call the one guy that have always shown me nothing but respect for how I carry myself around the ballpark at the Coliseum. It was Billy Bean. And I told him I did not want to go anywhere else, Billy. I want to come home. I want to come home and represent my community. And a lot of times you call people and they don't return calls, or they find reasons not to. One of my best friends, Dusty Baker, very popular guy, but one thing I've seen about being around him is that he always finds time to return calls no matter what. Nobody is too important to return a call. But Billy's an important guy, and you guys know what he means to his Oakland A's organization and the empire that he's built there. And I called him and I told him what had happened with me. And before I could get it out of my mouth, he told me to slow down, relax, just catch your breath. He says, Shooty, you represented this organization better than a lot of people that have been here for 25 years. Don't worry about it. Spend a holiday with your family. When it's time to go back to work, I got you. All of that to say this. 3 years ago, I co-founded an organization called TYPE, Transforming Young People Every Day. Our mantra is we rise by lifting others. Everything that I've learned through the people that have had influence on my life, from the coaches, from the people that have volunteered their times, because back in the day, there was no account, there was no expense account, there was no refunding of money for your time or giving you gas money. Everybody that did that was out of the love that they had for their community and for the kids, knowing that when my parents left for work and I went to San Pablo Park, I knew to be home when those street lights came on. And they didn't have to worry because the people that were down there looking after us took care of us. And that's what community means. This past year of 2019, I was able to have 6, I wouldn't say seminars, but we had 6 situations where roundtables where we were able to get 25 to 30 kids down at Richmond PAL. And that's the Richmond Police Athletic League. And what we try to do is service the undeserved. And if you ever have any time to spend any time down in the real true part of Richmond, where the hood really is, you'll really have an understanding for the underserved and what is needed. Just guidance, just learn how to be accountable for yourself, self-expression, how to dress, how to speak. We see so many things on TV that we're misled by all the things that are really not real in our lives that are going to build our character. And my organization is all about building character. I think the biggest compliment that I can get in my life now, this is my 17th year doing television as well. I'm a pre and post game analyst for the Oakland A's, as well as my job as a professional scout with the Oakland A's right now. And the one thing I try to do is set an example, because I know that I have a baton in my hand and I have an obligation not to drop it, because the last thing that I want to do is to mess up what I'm doing for the next person, or the next person of color gets an opportunity to, and someone using an excuse, well, the last guy that we gave an opportunity to, you know what he did. Well, I've had men, grown men, come up to me and say, hey, I want you to talk to this guy. This is this guy that you see on TV that we talk about by the way that he dresses, by the way that he expresses himself, by the passion that he has for life, that the belief and the love that he has for others. And I want you to talk to him. And I know, being a part of a community and a village where it takes a community of people to raise our children. We're in a place now where we're scared to speak to children because we're scared by the way that they will react, or perhaps their parents. And it's tough. But I was raised, somebody sent me something. I got a message the other day. I guess us folks from that butt whooping generation did a little better from this timeout community generation. And I'm not into violence. I'm not into beating or abusing, but I thank my parents for every bit of chastisement they put on me, because what it did is it gave me a sense of consequences, of fear of consequences. But I know if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm being righteous, if I'm treating people the way that I want to be treated, then I don't have to worry about the consequences. I think I'm never a person that would think about patting himself on the back. You let other people do that. I've been in a game for 43 years where there's been some great men that have put some great things on the field with their baseball cards and the things that they've achieved in the game. They can't even get back in the game because of the way that they treated people, the type of professionals that they were. You know, I'm a Christian. I was raised in the Baptist church. I'm not one that goes around reciting scripture or anything like that. But when they talk about the faith of a mustard seed, you're looking at a big mustard seed right here. And the one thing that I have that my dad always told me, that the only thing that you have is your word, because once you blow it or you lose it, you can never get it back. So I say all of that to say this. I'm proud to be a member of the Oakland A's organization. It's been 43 years for me. This is a team that came to Oakland in 1968. And has played a big part in the community here of building dreams and doing things in the community. We don't know where we're going from here. There's supposed to be a stadium built in 2024. There's a lot of rhetoric. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of things that have to be worked through. But I think the worst thing that I would want to see is for that club to leave here, because it gives guys an opportunity to come back and share some of the things that they've been able to accomplish in life and hopefully build dreams for other kids that can be fulfilled. But I want to thank the Rotary Club for considering me worthy enough to be here and to address such a tremendous group. Nancy Williams, I can't wait to meet you. I just want to congratulate on all the things that you and your husband are doing. I think that is magnificent and incredible. These are the things that we need. These are the things that we can't turn a closed eye to, especially now. I'm looking forward to my organization getting back up and running, because I deal with kids mostly, and with the COVID and everything, there's been a challenge for everything. But once we hit the ground running again, I'm just looking forward to just seeing the glee and the glow in some of these kids' eyes, because once that you show genuine interest, you just don't show up and talk and never see the kids and talk again. When you come back, when you put your arm around them, you let them know that you care. It means a lot. So I want to thank all of you. It's the people behind the scenes. I get a chance to talk because I've had a little somewhat fame, if you will. But in my opinion, you all are the famous people, because you do the building of the bridges that give me an opportunity and walk across and talk about the things that have been done. But without you, none of this is necessary. Ahmad, I want to thank you from man to man to pay that kind of homage to another, because it's always great. You know, I think the biggest compliment that any man or any woman could give to another man is to call him a gentleman. And you are every bit of that. And I want you to know that it's a blessing and it's an honor to be your friend. I want to open it up now. I probably talk more than what I was supposed to. But when you make a living talking, you talk until they tell you to be quiet. So any questions on any scope or any part of what I've said or didn't say, please throw it out there.
Yeah, am I still on? Thank you, Shooty, for those comments. I know we'll have a few questions for you, and we have Susie here to maintain the questions to start out with. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you, President Ces. So to start, David Stein says, Shooty, great to have you in Oakland.
Thank you.
for all that you do in the youth community. As a scout, how has Moneyball changed what you do and how you do it?
Oh, that is a great question. When I tell you it's a younger man's game, an older guy like myself who, the reason why that I got an opportunity to be a scout was because of my experience as a player. And in anything that you do, it seemed like the easiest way to get the job is experience. But now that Moneyball has had the amount of success that it has by quantitative measures and by analytics, a lot of guys that don't go to Brown or Harvard or some of the places where the higher learning level is, to be able to, squash stats and things of that nature, where the guy being in the park is not as prevalent to some as it is of kind of predicting what will happen opposed to what has happened. So for me, I have to be smart enough to understand that it's not going anywhere right now. The Moneyball thing is not going because people now have something to say. But in my opinion, the game has changed so much that everybody doesn't like the game like they used to because there's so much emphasis on everybody playing the same. If I was coming up now, it'd be a difficult chance for me to get an opportunity because you wouldn't see the things that you want to see in numbers in the way that I went about my game. I was a smaller guy. I could run. I'd take an extra base. I'd force you to make a mistake. I do the things on the field that quantitative measures don't tell you. So now you've got everybody trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Everybody's striking out. The games are 3 hours and 15 minutes long and there's no action going on. So not only has it affected me, it's affected everyone. So, I won't say Moneyball. I would say that the copycats in the industry are the ones that have influenced it even more and the way that I go about my business.
Thank you. So David Kittner says, love you on the pre and post game A's show. Who's been your favorite on-air host?
That won't be fair because I've worked with some great guys. I mean, the guy at Brody Brazil that I work with now, he's tremendous. The more you work with somebody, the more comfortable you get with them. They know how to set you up. They know how to shut you up. And they know how to lead you right where you need to go. Henry Wolford was one of the most joyful guys because he loved to laugh as much as I do. And sometimes we might even got in trouble for laughing too much. But I think you need to be around people like that. But Brody and I have been together for a while. I got a chance to work with Glenn Kuiper early on before he became this famous guy that he is right now. And, Ray Fossey, Dallas Braden, who I get a chance to work with, not on air directly, but the A's have always had great people.
Okay, Stephen Lowe says the main barriers to building at Howard Terminal seem to be a veritable mountain of environmental concerns that affect not only the site, but the water side, Oakland, the 4 neighborhood area of Chinatown, West Oakland, Jackland, and Old Oakland. Since resolving those issues obviously can't be accomplished by the A's alone, and the city doesn't have enough funding or purview, and that goes for the port as well. How can we get the regional agencies more involved to contribute fairly to the retention of this Bay Area asset?
Wow, that's the $1 zillion question. There is so much going on. The people that are involved that own the team, where they want to build it, the people that are going to be displaced, what are you going to do for the community? What's happened around Major League Baseball and sports in general, because every venue has become an event. It's not like you're just going to see a game and watch great players. It's the evening before, it's the things that go around at the ballpark, the things that the restaurants, all the different amenities, things for kids, older people that don't even care about baseball. Those are pure D baseball fans at the Oakland Coliseum. That's what they're all about. Unfortunately, because of the way that the game has grown, how media affects the way that the game is right now, it's just so much. I'll give you a small, quick story. David Cavill invited myself, Ricky Henderson, and Bill Roberts to go down to one of the commission meetings at the port. And so my brother, who's a longshoreman, works down at the port. So we walk in with David Cavill with our suits and ties on, and we're getting ready to go in the building. Here's my brother in the front of the line, and it's about 60 longshoremen in opposed to what we're doing and stuff. My brother's born. Woo. Now, what am I going to say? I don't want to take bread off my brother's table, but then again, baby brother, I'm trying to put some on mine. But you have to respect everybody's feeling about this, because no matter what, somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. My biggest thing here is that what's going on down at that part of the port where Schnitzer Steel have been operating down there. There's a lot to be done down there. The A's are willing to go down there and clean up a real sore spot and do something for this community. We just got to get people who will work together and come together on one accord and do what's right. And this is way over my pay grade, because there's just so many things. I mean, you know, here in California, I mean, it's hard to plant a tree without going to legislation about it. So building a stadium, man, it's a lot. It's a lot. And we've got 3 more years. Now that Vegas is getting involved, Major League Baseball got involved and told the A's that they need to start looking for a stadium. So it's now they're putting the pressure. So we've got 3 more years in that lease at this Coliseum.
We're working on it at the port. I'm a port commissioner, and we're working on it.
Thank you.
Next question. Next question, Susie.
Yeah, the next question is from Anna Marie. She says, other than being a professional ball player, what other jobs should young people consider in the sport? Where are the opportunities for young people who love the sport but won't or can't be players? And thank you for your inspiring presentation.
Thank you very much for the kind words. There's a lot being done now, especially since all the terrible events that we've had in our country over the last year or so. Now more people are starting to get involved. More things are starting to be created. Major League Baseball have a diversity program. The Oakland A's have a diversity and awareness program, and they're letting more kids, more people of color and diverse people to understand there are more ways to get in the game just by not players, working in the game, video, coaches, trainers. There's so many things. Whatever your desire might be to be in the game, there are ways and avenues to get an opportunity. So this is the best time now to be dreaming about doing anything, because there are so many people that are aware, because of all the injustices that have been so many people that have not gotten an opportunity that were worthy, that have put in the time, but for certain reasons or issues, they have not been warned in that. So as much or as many bad things that have happened, there are a lot of great things going on in our country and our world today. And my dad used to always tell me, any man that's looking backwards is heading for a collision. We can't look back what's happened. All we can do is determine and have something to do with what we're doing moving forward. But my platform, I love it. I want anybody to know that anything that they want to do in life, nothing is impossible if it's in your heart and in your will. I play in a big man's game. I grew up in a big man's game. I never let anybody outwork me or outbelieve me. And it's not over until it's over. So if people have interest in this game, there are a lot of different ways to get in now.
Question from David Stein. Who is the funniest current ace and the funniest of all time? And then he says, got a good funny story?
Oh man, you're talking about characters. I would say funniest all time for me. Mike Norris, Mickey Klutz. Mike Norris was quite the personality. We were locker mates. You're talking about a free spirit, the kind of guy, if you have a problem with Mike Norris, you genuinely have a problem with yourself. He always thought about someone else before he thought about himself, but he enjoyed life. His laugh was so infectious. When he came into the room, you didn't know if he was going to have on all red. You don't know if he was going to have on what he had on from the night before. but you know he's going to come in there with a great mood and he was going to lift everybody's spirit up just by the way that he went about his business. When he got on the mound, I mean, he was this guy that had this unbelievable flair and swag that enjoyed doing what he did. If you would talk about the club now, you know, some of the personalities have changed a lot. I don't get a chance over the past couple of years to interact because of COVID. You know, even though I've been around this club for all my life, basically, since I was 18 years old. I think I just told my age. I don't normally do that. That's why I don't have any gray on my face. I don't want people to know. But anyway, so COVID, I mean, this year I go into spring training, I got my badge on and my picture and everything, because everybody knows who I am. And we're taking our COVID test in the parking lot in a tent. So after I take my test, I want to walk into the clubhouse, say hi to everybody and everything, see some of the players and coaches and everything. And the receptionist basically tackled me at the door and told me I couldn't come in because I wasn't tier 1 or tier 2. So getting a chance to know some of the current players on the roster now. You know, this is a group of kids that are labeled as grinders. They have a tremendous clubhouse there. You've got a bunch of young kids who are married with children that are taking on responsibility of being professionals and husbands as well. And the way that this young group of kids carry themselves and the way that Bob Melvin managed them as a man and as a manager, I think speaks volumes by the way that they go about their business. They're a team that's in first place right now. And if you look at the numbers, it wouldn't indicate that they would be this type of team, but it's by the way that they go about their business, how they pull together as a club, how they look out for each other. So talking about a different personality on this club, I think you've got a lot of guys on this current club that are a lot alike.
Another question, Susie.
Yeah, so Jesse Schmidt wants to know who can do more pull-ups, Brad Pitt or Billy Bean?
Billy works out on the regular. You know, one thing that he doesn't do is watch the games. He never watches the games because he gets nervous about it. You wouldn't think so. This dude go and speak in front of 50,000 people and won't stutter. But when it comes to watching his team, he just has a problem with it. So while the A's are playing, he's in there working out. So he's in pretty good shape right now. I'd go with Billy.
Okay. Good choice. President Sass, Ahmad has a comment he wants to have read. Would you like to read it or do you want me to?
Let Ahmed make the comment.
All right, there you go.
Well, I just want to say, Shooty, and in front of everybody, very emotional moment for me. We grew up together as kids. We've lost parents together. And we've gone through a bunch of struggles, but through that, my friend, I've seen us both grow up together, loving dads, serving our community, supporting each other unconditionally. I want to say this out loud to you, man to man. I love you, Shooty Babitt, very much.
Thank you, Ma. I love you too, bro. Thank you. No doubt.
Thank you, Shooty, for being our guest today. It was quite emotional for Ahmad there, and that kind of got me emotional too. But thank you so much for being our speaker for today. This year, our club is making the homeless crisis in Oakland a priority. To that end, and as our gift to you for being our speaker today, in your honor, we're making a donation to support our unhoused residents in Oakland. Additionally, we would like to give you our Centennial book, which documents 100 years of service and friendship in the third oldest Rotary Club in the world. Again, thank you, Shooty, for being our speaker today. So much. Let's see if we can hear those flowers.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor. Thank you very much for being patient with me. But thank you so much. I look forward to coming back when you guys get back so I can get some of that bad food. I know I'm going to get a salad.
You can have some of the bad food, but you'll have the good camaraderie that we'll have in here when you come back to live meeting.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for everything. I truly, humbly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. President-elect Dudley, will you tell us about our speaker for next Civic Thursday meeting?
Thank you again, President Ces, for getting me up here a lot. You know, you make this look just so easy. You know, I might even try to take over a meeting before you leave. What do you think about that?
I like that.
So next week, Bernie Schlager, Professor Bernie Schlager, he's an associate professor of historical and cultural studies at Pacific School of Religion. He is also the executive director of the Center for Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, and Gender Studies at PSR and the Graduate Theological Union. His topic, don't be afraid of it. Think of Eric Forner, who talked about Reconstruction and how he tied this to issues with, was it the, help me, 14th through 16th Amendments. Bernie is going to talk about the Council on Religion and the Homosexual, a California contribution to LGBTQ liberation before Stonewall. And when he talks about that, he's going to talk about how the church, which is very controversial within the community, will be how that affects issues of liberation today. Please join us. Next month begins Gay Pride Month, and we're going to welcome Bernie Schlager.
Thank you so much. Thank you, President-elect Dudley. Thank you, Kristine, for the pledge and the thought for the day. Congratulations, Nancy, on your new blue badge. Thank you, Harold, for giving us that well-rounded, informative information on the Enterprise Institute. Historic, I'll say. Thank you, Mark, for the high adventure announcement, and thank you, Dudley, for reminding us and inviting us to the RI convention and teasing next week's Civic Thursday Speaker. And thank you, Ahmad, really, truly, thank you, Ahmad, for introducing your friend and our speaker for the day, the fabulous Shooty Babitt. Jesse, do we have, before I wrap up this meeting, do we have any bell ringers?
Yes, we do. We have 3 bell rings for your birthday. One from David Stein, one from Tom Lamone, and one from Joe Garacala. And Anna Marie rang the bell for the unbelievable, obvious friendship between Ahmad and Shooty.
What, any others?
That's it.
Come on. I'll have a birthday again, and they're gonna do it. It's really Sunday is my birthday. That's coming up here. I will turn 39, as Lois Cohen, I think, put in there. I think that'll work. But so
Okay, I'll ring the bell for you, Seth.
all right, thank you, Jack.
Push.
Yes, I'll ring the bell for you.
All right, I got another one. That's more like it. At least I got $500. All right.
Ring the bell. I'll ring the bell.
Who's that?
Steve
Steve
Lowe.
Lowe. Ring the bell.
And Ces, I'll ring the bell. This is Merlin.
Marilyn, ring the bell. Any more? I'm listening. All right, good enough. So I'd like to end this meeting as we always do. And that's the way it went at the 5,341st club meeting on May 27, 2021 at Oakland Rotary number 3, the 3rd oldest Rotary club in the world. Everyone remember, Rotary opens opportunities for service above self. And for now, this meeting of the Rotary Club of Oakland is adjourned.